Guys, welcome back. We are so excited to have our special guest on here today. We have Rachel Cruze with us.
We are so excited. Hi, Rachel. Thank you for being here with us.
Hi, you guys. Well, thanks for having me. I so appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
So we just finished up with Easter, and how did Easter weekend look for the Cruze family?
You know, it was a little different. Our church is kind of a larger one.
Okay.
Right outside of Nashville. So they have 5 services, and they have 2 Saturday, 3 Sunday.
Uh-huh.
And so we've done the Saturday service. This is our 3rd time doing it.
Cool.
And so it's like 10% weird because I'm like, it's not Sunday and like kind of a joke, I feel like.
Yes.
But 90%, I love it because Easter morning, I'm like, we just wake up and there's no rush.
Yes.
We do a breakfast. We just kind of take our time. So it's always a little different. Then we go to my parents' house for lunch. So we have that. And I made everyone get redressed up because we
Of course.
So it was like everyone has to still put on their
I know. Do you have to bribe your kids for the pictures, or are you just like or do they just smile perfectly for you, or is it just our kids that were like, just smile, be real, just smile?
You know what's funny is like the picture itself really wasn't that bad, but my daughter, she's kind of become like a little bit of a tomboy, so she used to always wear dresses, and now she's like, Mom, I just want to wear shorts and and I'm like, please, I really as a mom, I'm kind of hands off with what they wear. I'm like, I let them do it, and I'm like, we all look homeless, and it's fine, like it's just how it's gonna be. But I'm like, one day a year, y'all. I'm like, I get at least 3 days a year where I get to dictate what you wear, like family pictures, Christmas, Easter, like. There's a few things. First day of school. Like, there's a couple things I'm going to make you wear a certain thing. Other than that, it is free game. So,
I know.
The good news is we're not alone.
No,
so
that's true.
I'm
like always like coming with a brush, trying to brush my girls' hair. We have 3 girls and 1 boy. And I'm just like, I just don't want y'all to look like homeless ragamuffins. Like, I don't even care about you.
100%. 100%.
It's crazy. Yeah, our Easter was like very long. Like, we went to Jared's on the worship team, so he was there at church early, and then church all day, and then we went to his parents, and then we went to my parents. So by the time we got home last night, we were just like, oh my goodness.
We were songs.
It was it was wonderful. It was a good day.
It was good.
Yes.
Had a lot to celebrate.
So we wanted to learn, we wanted to just know about you. So we know that you work at Ramsey Solution. We know, of course, that you are the daughter of Dave Ramsey, which we love him so much.
Yes, big fans.
We wanted to know just like about you and your family. And so just tell us, first of all, how you and your husband met.
Yes. So Winston and I met in college.
Okay.
Go UT.
Yes. Go Vols. I actually was on like a semi date with his roommate. Like, the very first time I ever met.
Of course.
Like,
yeah.
And then a few weeks later, I actually met his younger sister, who's my age. Her name's Charlotte. And so Charlotte and I became great friends. Like my freshman year, she was one of my best friends in college. Cool. And Winston was always kind of like the hot older brother. I think, like, Charlotte.
Yes.
And then we started dating my sophomore year. So we both did Young Life. I don't know if y'all
yeah.
college. Yeah.
Oh, that's
so we were both
great.
leaders.
Yeah.
And so that kind of made the University of Tennessee campus, which is like tens of thousands of students.
Right.
You kind of have a smaller community if you're young. So he was in that group, but he was a little bit older, and so that's how we met.
That's fun.
That was the same. We met when we were I was in 2nd grade.
Yeah.
He was in 4th grade. His sister was like my best friend.
She was always younger than me, so I never really paid any attention,
He was like the cool high school jock.
I don't know about that.
2 years older than me, so like super cool, same thing.
Totally. Yes.
And then at some point, I guess either I got cooler or he got less cool, and then we got together. I don't know which one it was.
That happened. Okay, are you still close with his sister then? Are you guys still?
Yeah.
I know.
Such a gift.
So how soon did you know when you guys were dating? I mean, were you like the first week you're like, this is it? Like, this is the guy for me, or what happened?
You know, I feel like because I always kind of had a crush on him.
Did you? Okay.
Written in my freshman year journal, literally the line in the midst of all this other stuff that I literally said if I could marry a man like Winston Cruze.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
This is before we but I thought he was good looking. He loved
business,
like all the stuff,
all the things. Yes.
Felt like so when we started dating, I think there was still a part of me that was still like infatuated. I mean, I just can't believe that he it was that out of my league kind of feeling.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's considered love.
No, that's
no,
awesome.
I love that feeling. But yeah, but I mean, we got married young too. I was 21.
Okay.
And, yeah, he was 23, so we got married.
Yeah.
Basically right after school. So
Wasn't that was that our? No, I was
I was
25.
23.
I'm sorry.
You were 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, so we kind of, I mean, we knew we were a little bit old souls. I feel like even in
Absolutely.
college, like
Yes.
there's a little bit of that. We just kind of, I don't know. I feel like we did kind of know early.
So did he ask Dave for permission beforehand?
Yeah.
Was he nervous
did.
about that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We.
I feel like I feel like they have to be nervous.
Oh,
it has to be. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's funny. So
but yeah, Dad they went to a coffee shop and he bought a coffee mug after he asked him, and he gave it to Winston in the car.
how
After
cool.
he said, "All right, take this coffee mug, and when you drink coffee in the morning and Rachel's being Rachel, just remember, I kind of warned you."
That's funny.
You're like, thanks, Dad.
And I will not drink out that coffee cup.
No, I will not.
Oh, that's
cool.
funny. I remember I was so nervous with Amy. Her dad is our pastor. And it should have taken me about 10 minutes to drive to her house. But about every 30 seconds, I had to pull over on the side of the road just to pray, like, God, give me strength. Like, I don't know.
He was
help
on
me.
this motorcycle.
Yeah, I had a motorcycle at the
And
time.
his house from my parents' house is like 3 minutes. And it took you like 45 minutes
Yeah, it
to
took
get
me
there.
forever.
Because he
Just
was
to,
so
like,
scared.
I knew my life was going to change. You know what I mean? Like, it was like it's that, like, there are certain moments where you're like, it's going to be different from this point forward. And so, but I did it, and
How long have you guys been married?
it worked out.
We're going on 12 years in July.
Okay.
Yeah. What about y'all?
Great. We just celebrated 12 in December.
Okay.
So.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Happy anniversary late.
And you guys have
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
3 babies?
We have 3, yes. We have Amelia, who's 7. We have
Okay.
Caroline, who's 4. And then Charles is 2.
Nice. We have a 9-year-old Gable Claire, 7-year-old Layla, a 5-year-old McLean, and Redding, our son, is 2 also. So we're kind of in the same boat. I was going through your book and all the yeah. I was going through your book and you're talking about like the daily grind, and I was like, me too. Like it's just like every day, and you get to the end, you're like, I made it.
Yeah.
I made it through another day.
Yes.
People always, I feel like, older moms are like, you just cherish these years. Like,
I know.
all this,
It's so hard.
Which I get.
Yes.
I understand.
Right.
But also, I'm like, I think I just like I want a middle schooler just to sit down and actually.
Yes.
I know.
There's a part of me that I'm like, you don't want to wish the years away by any means.
For sure.
No.
It is it's a physical grind. And
It is.
So we feel. Yeah.
It is. Also going through your book. Now I could be totally wrong, but like when I was reading about you and Winston and y'all's relationship, I was like, it reminds me so much of us.
Yeah.
Like Winston reminds me of Jared. Again, I've never met him, but from the book, like just the different stories you said.
Yeah.
And you remind me of me. Have you ever taken an Enneagram test?
Oh, girl.
What are you?
Uh-oh.
I'm deep in it. I've been accused of some things in the Christian community. Like, you need to stop talking about the Enneagram. I'm like, listen, it leads me to Jesus more.
Yes.
I know my flaws,
Yes.
I see more.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So I'm a 3.
I knew it.
She tagged you.
I
She
knew it
totally
because I
called
am
it.
too.
And you were
Totally
too.
called
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yes, I knew
So
it.
my wing, though, I'm so back and forth with. Like, I think I test as a 2, a wing 2. But there's a little bit of the 4, which I'm not artsy. I feel like it's kind of that. I'm not that.
Right.
There's a level of that individualism that I'm like, I kind of want like, even like our dog. I'm like, I don't want anyone else in our family. I want our dog to be our dog. Like, nobody else
Yes.
get that free. I want
Yes.
a different thing. Like, I find myself a little bit, so I can relate to the 4 a little bit in that.
I told
Yep.
you.
Are you? That's so funny. Okay,
totally
so are
knows
you a
you.
wing 2 or wing 4?
I still can't figure that out either. Because I feel like I'm a wing 2 when Jesus is really helping me. Because I'm like, I want to be a helper. Yes. That's my thing. I'm like, when the Lord is leading me to do something, I feel like I'm a 2. But I'm musical and kind of, so, but I know I'm a 3. So, and
I appreciate this. Ian Cron has been on my show a couple of times.
Oh, cool.
I love it and how it relates to Enneagram, to money. And
Yes.
all of it. I think it's just fascinating.
Yes.
So
Right.
I've had him on a couple of times. And we always joke because I swear I'm a 7. Like I could really be a 7.
Yeah.
But every time I test, I'm a 3, and I relate to. I mean, there's 3 stuff that I'm like, oh, it's so
I know.
that's me. Like
I know.
So I always laugh with Ian because I'm like, I still think I'm a 7. He's like, you're not a 7.
That's
Yes.
funny.
Yeah, and I think,
Well,
but
if
I
he says
want to
it.
be a 7.
If he says it, then you got to trust him.
Yes.
okay,
And
what are you? What number are you?
I'm a 1.
You're a 1. Okay.
I'm a 1. yeah.
has your husband ever taken the test?
Oh yeah. So Winston's a 5.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
I know. There's not a lot of them out there.
Right.
He's
There's
a wing 4, very much.
Okay.
So he's definitely more musically. I hate to peg music people.
No.
Right.
That's not always the case. But he's very musically inclined, very creative.
Cool. Does he play?
So it's very, piano.
Oh,
By
wow.
ear.
Cool.
He's a,
Yes.
he does too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So impressive.
I know.
When we were dating, Hey There Delilah was like one of the hits on the song.
Oh,
We went back to his
yes.
rental house and he had a keyboard and he like kind of
Melted
figured
your
it
heart.
out.
You were
Like, that may have
done.
been the moment.
You were
that was
done.
it.
You're it. You are it.
Oh, that's funny.
How funny.
But we both wing 4 a little bit. So
Okay.
I think
So you
it's
kind of
very
meet in the middle.
compatible.
Yeah.
Like Winston and I are very compatible to be so different.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways, we can talk about that all day.
That is
That's
so funny.
1 and a 3.
Yeah.
1 and a
yeah.
3.
And I hear the best way it's put is it's not that you're stuck in that for the rest of your life, but it just kind of shows how you show up in the room and what to work on. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're just pigeonholed in that forever, you know? So, but
And
anyways.
it's not all about the glory of it. Like I think some people use the Enneagram
Right.
just to be like, oh, this is cool information. Like, let it refine you. Like, let
Yes.
it be like,
Yeah.
wow, I do suck in that, and that is very free of me. So
I know.
I need to be redeemed from that.
I know,
So,
because
that's all.
there's some attributes of the 3 that you're like, oh,
No.
oh, you just kind of cringe. You're like, oh,
Unhealthy 3s, I'm like, ugh.
I know,
Exactly.
I know. So going back to your kids, because we're coming, I know we just finished Easter, but we're coming up to Mother's Day. What has been some of the biggest changes in your life when you became a mom?
Oh, wow.
Besides having
I
a
think
human?
every parent probably feels this, but there's a selflessness
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
with parenting that I'm like, and it's from the big stuff of
Yeah.
just not getting to choose to do. Like if we want to, I don't know. I mean, I want to go on vacation with Winston like every week, and I'm
Right.
like, we can't. We're parents. Like, we have responsibility that we have to be with our children.
I know.
So I'm like, even like we have time by ourselves for sure, but I'm like, just stuff that I just want to do on a whim. I'm like, I have these 3 other lives that
I
I have
know.
to put through that filter, and I'm like, and that's a big thing. 2, of course, just unloading dishwasher every day. I'm like, you're just,
Oh my
you
goodness.
just wash it. You're just clean the kitchen
Oh my goodness.
5 times a day if
I
you're
know.
home all day. And so it's just that feeling of
Mm.
that selflessness that
Yeah.
it's been big, and it's kind of rocked me where I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I got this.
It's real.
Yeah.
This is big.
Our
Yep.
oldest 2 have just crossed over where they empty my dishwasher for me.
Boom.
You just wait.
It's a game
That's
changer.
You just
That's-
wait.
It's a game
And it's
changer.
just like empty the dishwasher. And like you come down and it's all empty.
Do we have any broken dishes yet?
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think
not
so.
yet. So
That's impressive, y'all.
I know. So just you wait till your 7-year-old. I mean, ours is 7, but she's usually like it's the big one, the older one who's really helping her.
Yes, totally.
So I don't think I would trust it completely to Layla to do it.
It'll get in there and kind of like mess around. Yeah, with it.
I know.
yeah.
You know, we had my 7-year-old had her first grade little school play last week, and it was what you want to be when you grow up, and she wanted to
Oh,
be a
cool.
babysitter. I think-
Yes.
So I was laughing.
Yes.
I was like,
Big
I was like,
dreams.
you could be anything. Though. I was like, Amelia, we could like get an astronaut costume off Amazon, like whatever you need. She's like, I'm gonna be a babysitter. I was like, that's
Oh,
cool.
I
We're gonna
love
be a babysitter. I was
Yes.
like, do you want to be a mom though? And she
Yeah,
literally was like,
yeah.
it looks like too much work.
For real.
Literally what she said. I was like,
For real.
it is a lot of work. Really. It's very rewarding.
I
Oh,
know.
man.
My favorite part of life, being a mom.
Yes,
I love
for
it so
sure.
much.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it is. It's a lot of work.
It's
Amelia.
so much work.
Good observation.
I know. She's like, the babysitter gets paid and then they get to leave and go home.
Yeah,
and they get
yeah.
to eat all of the people's food.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a mom.
And hold the baby, and then I'm done.
Exactly. So funny.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we've learned so much too with selfishness and getting rid of it with kids. And we had a great weekend trip last year, and we keep kind of reminiscing, like, can we just go
Like
back?
just us.
Can we just go back? It was just like a few days away,
I
but
know.
So good. I know.
it'll get there. It's
And when we
it's-
were on the trip, so our kids were taken care of. They were with my in-laws. And so they're here. Everything's done. We're like in Asheville, North Carolina. And then I'm like, can we not leave? Like once we were
Yes.
there and everything was like taken
Yes.
care of at home, it's like, why should we go back?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
not forever, but just like a couple more days,
Yep.
please.
Yep.
Always better behaved with other people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I know. Whenever my parents or his parents watch them, they're always
And then
like,
we get home and they act like they don't even miss us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back. You're like, what? What?
And then there's a detox.
Yes.
There's a detox period. They
Yeah.
got to be detoxed from the grandparents and getting everything that they want, which is fun for the grandparents. And it's, I feel like how it should be. But
yes.
there is and they just look at you like, this is not how I've been
Yeah.
living the last few days. I'm like,
The word
well, mama's
no,
back.
I've never heard the
Yeah.
word no.
I know.
It's a thing. And the control too. I think that's another big one for me where I'm like,
Yeah.
I kind of thought I was going to be able. Why? I don't know. But I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, if I do this, I can control there's feels like zero control. So I've given up on that too.
Yeah, I know. Well, I still need to work on that because the control is hard for me. I'm just like, I just want to have my hand in all the things and do all.
Yes.
It's tough.
We're all a work in progress.
It is.
Yes.
For sure.
So I want to switch gears a little bit, and I want to talk about your book and just kind of the inspiration behind it.
I see it on your screen in here.
Yes, there it is. Yep,
Know yourself, know your money. Like what was the main inspiration behind that?
Yes. Well, honestly, a little bit, not fully the Enneagram, but I enjoy those kinds of tests or awareness or whatever you want to call it of just who I am. And we talk at Ramsey so much about the tactical side of money, getting out of debt and budgeting, investing and real estate, inflation, like whatever you want to talk about money, like we can do it and deep dive into it. But we also know and teach that it's the person in the mirror that makes the progress with your money. It's not just the math.
Right.
You deciding to make a change. And so I just thought, a lot of our books and stuff, we touch on that a little bit, but we really do focus on the how-to of money.
Yeah.
So for this, I was like, I want to talk about the why. Like, why do we handle money the way we do? And it's everything from our childhood home growing up to who we are, how we're created, our environment, our tendencies, our fears, our dreams. There's so much that involves of why we make the money decisions we make. So I wanted to kind of give that as a tool. So I almost see it as like, I was kind of had this picture of like, it's the root system of that financial foundation that you want solid. But underneath it, if you can kind of get those roots figured out and implanted deeply, then it allows the change to be that much easier.
Right.
Yeah, I love that part in there where you talk about how when we're growing up, it's kind of like it's our money classroom. Whether you realize it or not, like you are learning about money, and some kids, they're going to do exactly like their parents did, or other kids, they're going to do the exact opposite. And it was just kind of cool hearing you talk about your story and how you learned about money and everything that you went through that process.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Your environment growing up is huge. And like you said, I feel like people either just mirror a lot of what they saw because it's the only thing they know, and it's only a subconscious way of doing life. Or I got this visceral reaction from people that it was the opposite. And it was like, no,
I don't want to
do this happened and I'm not doing that. It was like this very hard line. So, but it's good to even know, because I feel like when we're not aware, we can almost fall into that mirrored state, and we're just doing it because, again, it's just kind of what we know. But to challenge that and figure out, okay, could things be better? Could I duplicate the things that went well? And vice versa. But
I've heard that from so many people too, is they feel like they're just defeated with money. Like they get this victim mindset, or like, I'll never be able to. And because all around them, whether it's their family or their friends, are just struggling with money. So like, this is just kind of where I'm at. And your book just empowers people. You know what I mean? Like, stop. Like, there's no excuses. Like, you have control. Just because your parents live this way, just because your friends, does not mean that you have to. And it really helps you to dive into getting your why, because all the goals that we've gone after, if we forget our why, then I mean, because there's going to be days that are hard. And if we just go off of our feelings and our emotions, you're just going to quit on the day when it gets hard. But that's really cool. And your book really covers that well for people.
Yeah. Yes. Well, thank you. Yeah. It's a big deal. All of that, right? To acknowledge. And say, okay, this is what happens. I love therapy too. So it's probably part of my loving understanding myself.
Right.
But I remember he always has said for years now, we've gone to him for a few years, but when it comes to your family and your and even your parents, it's like, okay, we're not here to just defend them. We're not here to just bash them because we're here to just to tell the truth. And I'm like, when you can kind of just tell the truth, almost in a factual sense, taking that emotion out and saying, here's what it was.
Right.
And now, like you said, the ability to make decisions as an adult now. I get to make decisions with my life. And do I have to walk through pain and maybe some healing from what occurred? Absolutely.
Right.
But also you get to move forward. And so there's power in that. Dr. John Deloney is one of our Ramsey personalities. He is launching a book talking about, owning your past and changing your future. And I'm like, yes and amen. Because that can be applied to money so well.
Yeah. That's so good. In your book, you talked about the 7 money tendencies. And you had all these back and forth ones. And you were saying, like, it's not necessarily like being a saver or spender. One or the other is not necessarily right or wrong. It's just how you're wired to be. We have a listener who asked this question. concerning that.
Yeah.
She said, how do you handle a marriage where one person is a saver and one person is a spender?
Ooh, that's good.
So what would you say to her?
I would say, welcome to marriage.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of, are you guys, what are y'all? Are y'all spending
We're
savers?
actually both savers.
I was going to ask you that as a follow-up. Like, what do you do with two savers?
I know.
Used to be saving and saving and saving.
We are both very saver. We have to be like, we have to do something fun.
I know, right?
So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, every now and then I'll get two spenders or two savers, but most
we're both
of the
nerds.
time,
Yeah, we
that
are.
opposite. Oh, I love it. That's so,
Yeah.
so great. So I mean, I would just say that there's a level that you can learn, something you can learn from your spouse. And I feel like, especially in the financial space, the savers kind of get the applause. And they're like, oh, you're so wise and so great. It's so wonderful. And the spenders are a little bit like, oh, you're just immature. And you
right.
For sure, yeah.
Where that's not always the case. And
right.
so the saver, like you said, can learn from the spender and say, okay, I can enjoy life. There's a level that I don't have to like hold everything close fists. There's not a control thing, like let it go, open up. And actually most spenders are even easier they're more natural givers.
Yeah.
Because they live their life. So there's things to learn from the spender. And then the spender, you have to learn to save money or you're going to be broke. Like you have to have the maturity
real
to
life.
say, I'm going to put some money aside. And so you can learn from your savers. So I think there's an element there just to appreciate your differences, which I know is easier said than done. They can cause a lot of friction.
For sure.
But have the humility to go in and say, okay, I want to hear from
that's
myself,
key.
There. And then more of a tactical side, I'm like, just do a budget together. Like, it's amazing. Winston and I'm a spender, which actually it's so funny because I'm the one that teaches all of this, but I am a natural spender and he is the saver. But when we do a budget, we agree on it. It's like, okay, this is what we're doing. Here are our goals. We're aligned on that. And it just makes things easier because it's almost like you make the budget the good or bad guy out there.
It's
like,
not my fault. It's the budget. Yeah.
It's that thing out there. And so there's something powerful about having that third, not person in the relationship with them.
Right.
But like that thing out there that you're pointing to and saying, hey, we agreed on that. And so it may take a few months to get to a point where you just agree on a monthly budget. So I don't recommend that either.
Right.
But there is, there's power in that. But if those kind of things start to become difficult, that's where that underneath the foundation, there's probably other marital stuff going on, whether it's trust, not listening, not respecting each other. It's coming out as money, as another issue. But there's probably something else digging in there. So I would really kind of step back and say, okay, we're not able to be aligned. Here are the reasons why. And let's work on that why so that when we get to the tactical side of budgeting, it does become a little bit more seamless.
Right. Yeah.
And I think, go on. Were you gonna say
I was going to say like humility. Like you said, we got to have humility. You got to both be able to say, okay, I see you and how you do things and you see me. So we're coming together in like an agreement way. I mean, a marriage, compromise, coming together and learning how to do this together and not be just like fighting the whole time. It's huge.
And I think being able to talk about it too. You know, so many people are spenders and savers and they just don't talk about it. And so I think a good first step is humbling yourself, like you said, but also like talking about it and just getting on the same page. Because then like you said, when you get a budget, it brings clarity. It puts it all right in front of you. And then now we have our goal, we have our why. So which it sounds all easy, but I mean, it's easier said than done.
For sure.
Totally doable though.
And I think in visualizing yourself as a team, but like your locked arms, again, going against this thing. We're not going against each other. We're going against this thing.
Right.
And to be on that same page, because money, it's so easy and it's become a trend and people do it all the time.
Right.
They have separate checking accounts.
Yeah.
Yep.
They have separate things and they start to live in these two separate worlds where one pays this bill, that one pays that one, pays each other back. I mean, it ends up being this roommate situation.
Yes.
And there's a level there that I'm like, I push people. If you're listening and you do not have the same checking account as your spouse, you need to do that. Now, if there's the small percentage, if there's addiction, if there's things going on, obviously there's reasons not to. But for majority of people, sharing that's a level of vulnerability and a level of trust that a lot of people are scared to do. But man, when you can do that and you say, we're sharing everything. We're sharing a kitchen. We're sharing a bed.
Right.
We're sharing our genetics are being shared in front of us. If you have kids, learning to have that unity. There's something there that exposes the good and the bad, but it is so refining for marriage. Like you just live on a deeper level when you say, we're going to be one on everything.
That's good.
And it's a dangerous thing to do, the two avenue thing. I just think like you miss so many opportunities. And people say, well, you know, but we fight all the time and it's just easier just to be separate. I'm like, that's the exact conversation you need to have.
Right.
And like push into that.
You can't avoid the fight.
Come from it. Yes, that's right. Because it's going to come up somewhere.
Yeah.
Like a beach ball. You keep pushing it down and try to maneuver yourself out of it. It's going to come up. It may not come up in money. It may come up in a different part of marriage. But
Exactly.
man, it's coming. So learning to be one, it's huge. And you win faster. I'm like, especially if you're full income and you're putting your money together.
Yeah.
Why
would you not?
I know. I know.
That's good.
So good. So you said that you're the saver and Winston is the spender. No. I'm sorry. Opposite. Yes. You're the spender. Winston is the saver. In your book, I literally laughed out loud about the story of Anthony Weiner, the documentary. I thought that was so funny because you like, if you're listening and you haven't read the book, you need to go read the book.
Yep.
And can you tell us what happened on that? Because that was so funny to me. It was so funny.
You know, it's been a few years, but I love politics. So I enjoy like election seasons or stuff about random congressmen, senators. I'm like, I find it intriguing. So Anthony Weiner, who people probably heard of because he had a lot of scandal a few years ago.
Right.
But there was a documentary. So these people were doing this film on him and his campaign when he was running to be mayor of New York City. And during the campaign is when a bunch of this stuff came out. So literally live on camera, they have all this stuff. So a few of my friends know this about me and they're like, Rachel, you've got to watch this documentary. It's fascinating, all of it. So I was like, okay. I was home one day, and it was not on Netflix or anything like that, so I had to pay for it. And it was, it was it was like $19.99 just for rent.
Right.
Yeah. And I was like,
so there's a splurge.
An hour and a half, but I was like, that's fine. I'll take it out of my line item of the budget.
Right.
But I forgot about it, and you know, a few weeks passed, and our bill came from Comcast, and I came in the house, and Winston was on the phone with them, and he was just, which him and Comcast don't have like the best history anyway. So like it was a Comcast call that
I know.
So he's like, he's just kind of absolutely not. I'm not paying for this. Unbelievable. And I was like, what? And he was like, Comcast. And I was like, oh, okay. I'll
get him. Go get him.
And I just heard him say a few seconds later. He was like, no. I did not purchase a documentary called Weiner. No, that is not from us. All of us. And I was like,
and you're just squirming right now.
And I ran in the kitchen. I was like,
and he's like, you did what?
I was like, it's about a congressman.
I loved that.
Oh, that's so
I love it. I love how you were like also having to like justify it on the phone for the person that they were even talking. It's like it's a political documentary.
Yeah, because the Comcast guy's like, I don't want to be involved. Don't put me between you guys. This is y'all's thing.
I feel like Jared has that. Like, I'll try to get him something.
Oh, yeah, because
all of our money is shared. So like, if I ever try to buy him anything online, he's such like a detailed person. He's always going through the line. And
I'm like, what is this? I think someone might have taken our card information. Someone has a debit card.
No, I just was trying to surprise you.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. That's hard. The gift thing is tough. So I've started, if there's an obvious holiday coming up, like a Christmas or anniversary, we'll sometimes just get a gift card, like buy a X number dollar Visa gift card to use. So I'm like, you know that we're going to be spending this money, but you don't know where.
You just don't know where, yes.
Yeah, or if you have like a friend or family member, you can kind of bum money from and then pay them back after.
Right.
So I've done that too for concert tickets.
Yes.
I wanted to know.
Right.
So I had I wrote my mom a check. I was like, don't cash this check. She doesn't have Venmo. So I was like,
oh, that's funny.
Don't cash this check until after this date. But
yes.
Not technically debt, you know?
Oh, no.
No.
For sure.
If you would just warn me, I wouldn't have checked if you'd have just warned me. But her problem was she surprised me.
Yeah, because I just don't even think about it. I'm like, I'm just going to get this and he's not going to know. But then he just goes with his little magnifying glass down the thing. And I'm like,
I'm just trying to make sure no one's going to break into our bank account and take the money.
Good.
You
That's
know?
Wisdom. Thanks, babe.
It's very thoughtful of you, too.
So
yeah.
You know what I mean? She's very thoughtful, and that's what counts.
Yes.
But so with you being with Dave Ramsey, did you always know as a child, like this is what I'm going to step into? Or was there a time of searching to where you're like, I'm going to try to figure out, I might go my own way? Or the whole time you're like, no, I'm graduating college, I'm going straight in?
Yeah, I'd say a little bit of both. So I started traveling and speaking with him when I was 15.
Yeah.
And so on weekends and stuff, we would, have these big events, and I would go right before the breaks and pitch like our kids' products or do something. And I just learned really early on, I just enjoyed being in front of people or with people.
Yeah.
So I kind of had that nugget. And then when I went to college is when I realized, oh, wow, people really, students my own age, I'm like, they really have no clue.
Yeah.
Right.
And any conversation around it, they're like, well, my parents never told me, or like no one talked about it, anything like that. And I just thought, man, there is such a need. And so there was one part of me that I wanted to move to New York. I love New York City so much.
Yeah,
so I was
I do too.
I could have like lived there and just done, I don't even know what I would have done, but just done something there. But realistically, I was, once I were getting married and
Yeah.
I'm like, he would rather be in Arkansas in a duck blinds living
Right.
there
Right.
versus
Yep.
Manhattan.
He's like,
There we
I'm
go.
not living in New York.
Yeah, she was like, no. And so, so when I was like, okay, I really do have this heart to help. I mean, at the time it was
Yeah.
college students and high school students. And so when I graduated, that's kind of what I went for, was that younger generation.
Yeah.
We kind of get that before, because I feel like with my story, I was given the gift of understanding
Right.
how
Right.
money works. And so I kind of looked at my dad as the emergency surgeon, and I was the preventative medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
like
good.
that.
You can get this early. You don't have to go through all the mistakes. And so,
Right.
so I spent a few years, really focused on that. And then I think as I had kids and, growing older, all the things, my content, I feel like it shapes a lot of my own life experience. So
Right.
out of being a mom and different things, I feel like I've kind of moved out of that space specifically into other ones. But it's, so it kind of has grown over time. Priscilla Schreier, she has a Bible study, Discerning the Voice of God.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that like probably 2 years ago. And I remember she had a quote in there where she said, I sometimes don't always know that he's speaking, but when I look back, I can
Yes.
Oh,
tell
yeah.
he was speaking. And he's
Yes.
spoken. And that's kind of how I feel like with my job. I'm like, it was just these little stepping stones. There was no big, like, here I am.
All of a sudden, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was very kind of small increments, small doors opening, really following what I enjoyed and what I had a heart for. And it's led to this 12 years later.
And I feel like that's even how God works. Like he puts like enjoyment, desires in your heart, and you kind of take the next step and you're like, this is fun. I'm good at this. I enjoy this.
Yeah.
And he kind of works through the attributes and the characteristics that he's put inside of you. So
Absolutely, yes. And you hear so many people say, that like those early years of refining and learning, at least for my job, it's kind of more public facing.
yeah.
It's such a blessing. We're in the middle of it. You're like, no, I want to be on Good Morning America, or put me on the big stuff,
Yeah.
Right,
and they
right.
won't have you. And then like, but thank God for that. Where I'm like,
Yeah.
it was a refining process for me
Yes.
to learn my craft a little bit more and all of that. So, I even appreciate those years. And I think about people with their money when they're getting out of debt and they're doing the sacrifice, they're doing the grind. I'm like,
Mhm.
Right.
what is being stirred and molded in you during that time of sacrifice is something that you're going to carry on with you for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah.
And instant gratification is so applauded. We want everything so fast. And there's
Right.
something about the journeys that you go through of
Yeah.
sacrifice that shape who you are, that you can almost handle the success. You can handle,
Yeah.
after you build wealth, we say you live like no one else. So later you can live and give like no one else. So
Right.
part of that is to build wealth and change your family tree.
Yeah.
And you have the character to hold that versus
Yep.
if it was just given to you within 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a beauty in that process that I think God allows you to be on that journey for a reason.
For sure.
Well, and we look at our own journey. We've kind of tagged that year, those beginning years of our life and marriage together, as the hungry years, the sacrifices that we made, and they were tough,
Yeah.
like legit tough. But we look back on those years fondly because that was when we really grew together. So we became one. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And we got our
Yes.
goals together. But through those formative years, you just really start to grow, and the sacrifices that you make and the lessons that you learn really is impactful. And we wouldn't be who we are
No.
and where we're at today if it wasn't for that. And those are very sweet. I wouldn't trade those for anything, even though it's tough.
No.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
trade that for
Yep.
anything.
Absolutely, for sure. Absolutely.
So, is there any advice that you would give to your 20-year-old self, looking back through the journey, all the sacrifice, all the lessons learned? Is there anything what would you tell your 20-year-old self right now?
Not necessarily just about, I mean, it can be about money, but it could be
Yeah.
about anything.
About anything,
Anything.
yes, about life.
Life.
Man, I would say, what would I tell Rachel? I would tell her, I don't know. There's like a little bit of me that I'm like, just relax. Like
Yeah.
it's going to be okay. And the things that aren't okay in the moment, God uses.
Right.
You know, I look through our marriage story. I look through parenting. I look through work. I mean, all these kind of hats and roles that I have in life. And I don't know. There's a part of me that I'm like, just I don't know. I don't know if that's kind of cliche, but I feel like just relax. Like it's even better than you can imagine. Like and not because of all the stuff around, but there's a depth to life that Winston and I have chosen to dig into with marriage and our parenting and our personal growth, all of it. That I'm like, there's just something rich about life that you get, and I would want her to know, like everything that all the decisions you're making to this point is for a reason.
Yeah. And I think like that, looking at it from even like a biblical perspective, like when we are relaxing, we are really trusting God.
Oh yeah.
Like we're really just like, okay, I don't have to, because again, I'm a controller. I don't have to have my hand in everything. I don't have to control it all. I can just like relax in God and know that He's going to take care of us. He's going to work it out. That's so good. So we want to make sure that we respect your time, but I have one more question for you. This is a big one. Okay. Pizza or sushi?
Oh, girl.
Uh-oh.
Right? I know the top two.
Or is
I
it
do
beer?
it.
I'm gonna have to go pizza.
Nice.
Me too.
I will.
Me too.
I love sushi. Though.
Me too.
I love sushi.
Me too.
But pizza, it's just like there's something about it, and I don't care if
Guilty
it's like
pleasure.
from a crappy chain restaurant or if it's from like the realest ingredients ever.
Real.
Whatever the gamut is,
I know.
I'm like, it's just satisfying. I don't know what it is.
I know. You can tell a lot about a person by that answer right there. And girl, I love it. I love it. But I do have one more real question. That was a joke.
Yes.
So there are different financial disciplines that we have to work on in our life. What do you think is your biggest, I guess, financial weakness? I don't know if that makes sense, but your financial weakness in your life personally that you have had to discipline, because we live in a world, there's always a new style, there's a new trend, there's a new fashion. Like you renovate your house and 5 years later, there's all the new stuff. And
100%.
like, how do you, like, what is your thing that you have to work on?
I mean, I think I'm like everyone else. I mean, contentment would be a big piece.
Part
of it. I wrote a book called Love Your Life, Not Theirs, because it was about comparison, but how to defeat comparison really is that contentment. So that's still, I think I've matured a little bit in that. A little bit, not a ton, but grown some in that. But man, it's still hard for me. And I think as a spender too, being aware of why I'm spending, and that's what I talk to in my new book. But for me, I'm like, I can just be bored with what I have.
Yes.
I'm like, I can go on Amazon and for $15, kind of get this adrenaline hit of like a new pair. I don't know, something. And I justify it because I'm like, it's not a big money expense. We can afford it. It's in the budget. I check all these tactical boxes. But to really look at myself and be like, Rachel, why? Like what causes you the need to do that? So like that's stuff that I am like guilty of.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think everybody, I mean, especially in America, not everybody, but there's so many people, like our big thing is we just want new things all the time. And even as like a woman, like we love the new shirts, we love the new earrings, we love all this. Yes. And when you really think about it, you're like, nobody even knows. Like that this is a new shirt. Like nobody really knows. You know, absolutely. And it just becomes another thing. In your closet. Instagram's kind of the worst for me sometimes because I like the swipe up. So I follow a few bloggers that I really do love their style. Right.
And I'm like, I have like 5 pairs of black skinny pants. And I'm like, stop it, Rachel, stop it. And they're like, here's a new one that came out. And I'm like,
I know.
Target, I'll get it. I'm like, Rachel, stop.
I know.
Well, back to your contentment point too. I remember reading in one of your dad's books. He said this is one of the number one keys to building wealth. Someone who's always trying to get the next new style, the next new pair of pants, the next whatever latest thing. How are you supposed to build wealth when you're too busy keeping up with trends? And I remember reading that and I was like, that is so good. The people are just content and they've got what they got. They're thankful for what they got. They have an attitude of gratitude. They're grateful for that.
Yes.
Those are the people that are able to acquire wealth so much easier versus the ones that are trying to make everyone else happy
like keeping up with the
Joneses. Right, Well, and the avenue of debt has allowed that little part of us culture just balloon up, right? And then that's what's difficult, where I'm like, when all of your income is going out to debt payments, to a car you can't afford, even clothes, vacation, I mean, you put anything
and
in
it all
that
adds
slot.
up.
I can afford that payment.
And Yep, that's right. And then you're like, well, instead of that payment going to the bank, it could have been investing
That's it.
for
Right.
the future, all of it. So it is. It's a big cycle, but that contentment piece, it is really big.
Yeah.
And when you do the math on those little bits, if you save $200 a month and you start doing math on compounding interest, it just blows your mind.
Yes.
When you look at 30 years, 40 years down the road, what that could actually become and turn into.
Absolutely.
You know?
I know. So I always tell myself, I'm like, Rachel, 50-year-old Rachel is going to be really happy that you did
Yes.
this.
I know.
Yes.
I have to look to that future person.
Yes.
My mom says she'll get something at a store and she'll get it and put it in her cart. And then she'll walk around the store and try to talk herself out of it. And then she's like, if I get at the end and I realize, no, I really do want this, and I obviously can afford it, then she gets it. But if I talk myself out of it, it was just like a whim. It was just like, that was really cute. And it probably is.
Yes.
But you don't necessarily need it,
That's right. That's a great one. I know.
Anyway.
That's so good.
Well, Rachel, thank you so much for getting on here with this.
Thank you.
And we've loved it. We've loved your new book and everything that you guys are doing and the impact you guys are having on people's lives. And we just want to say thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time. And this was so fun just getting to know you. And we just loved having you. So thank you.
I so appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. And thanks for all the work you guys do. I mean, the stuff you guys put out just for helping people and all of that. So thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Have a great day. Bye, Rachel.
God bless you.